Day two. That's not it. Chapter 3, day 2.
Take what we did yesterday, we take what we did a couple weeks ago, and we build upon it a little bit. So instead of solving nice pretty equations with quadratics, we're going to solve scarier ones. Ben, lose the iPad. Sorry? What? Okay. Got some notes handy? Yes. That was supposed to be yes and awesome combined in one. Yes. I just created a new word. Yes. Why you better be awesome. Yawesome. Yes. Awesome. Yawesome. That's yawesome. Anyways, ax squared plus bx plus c is our generic form for a quadratic. The ax squared is the quadratic term, the bx is the linear term, the c is the constant term, and of course you want it to be equal to 0 most of the time. However, we're going to look at a couple today where setting it equal to 0 is not the best way to solve the problem. And again, these are equations. How many answers should we get? 2, because it's a quadratic. What if we have a cubic? 3. Quartic? 4.
What's the 5 one?
Quintic?
5.
Sounds what?
Like it, never mind.
Sounds like a German what?
Never mind.
What did you say?
Never mind.
What did you say? Was it funny?
It's funny to me.
Well, share with us.
Okay.
That's right. She did fight the power. 4 is equal to 3x squared minus 17. No b term. Since there's no b term, we can solve this a different way. We're going to use the square root method. Meaning, unlike other problems where you set everything equal to 0, here we're going to split it. So I want the x squared on one side and everything else on the other side. And then I'll end up taking the square root. So I'm going to move the 17 to the other side and get 21 is equal to 3x squared. I'm isolating the squared term, so I'm not done yet. What do I do next?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3. And 7 is equal to x squared. How do I get x by itself?
Square root.
Cassie? Awesome. Let's do the right side first. What's the square root of x squared? X. Think carefully before you answer. What's the square root of 7? Nope. It's a quadratic.
Plus or minus the square root of 7.
Plus or minus the square root of 7. Need to have 2 answers there. And that's the exact answer, so we're going to leave it like that. I don't really care what the decimal equivalent is. 2 point blah, 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 blah. Who cares? We good, right? Okay. We good? Any problems there? Again, if you don't have a b term, you could then use the square root method. Let's change colors. This one can be solved 2 different ways. An easy way and a hard way. Which method do you want to do first, Josh? Josh. It's not a difficult question. The easy way or the hard way? Easy way first. You'll do the easy way first and save the hard stuff for the end? Okay. I like that. What's the easy way?
Just take the square root of both sides.
Take the square root of both sides. What's the square root of anything squared?
Just stuff in it.
It's self. What's the square root of 25?
Plus or minus 5.
Plus or minus 5. Move the one to the other. Now, hold on. Let me stop for a second. We can do this as one equation, or we can split it into 2 separate equations. Which would you prefer?
2 separate.
Please split
2
it.
separate? Okay, we can split it. That's fine. 5x minus 1 is equal to 5. 5x minus 1 is equal to negative 5. Solve both of those. 5x is equal to 6, x is equal to 6/5, and 5x is equal to -4, so x is equal to -4/5. Two answers, it's a quadratic, I'm happy. Anybody want to guess what? Yes?
Is it and or in between them?
And, but, and or will get you pretty far. Anybody know what that's from?
No.
Nobody? You guys might not even know it, you're too young.
What is it?
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Oh.
Right? Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah.
And, but, and or will get you pretty far. You don't remember? How about I'm just a Bill, yes, I'm only a Bill?
Yeah.
See it there on Capitol Hill.
I'm off to the White House where I waited or that.
And that one guy who can't get
It's like
married.
Willie Nelson or
President's
something.
son. And then I'll be I'll can praise the Lord. But today, I'm still just a Bill. He signed your bill, now you're along.
Incredible.
Conjunction, junction, I'm just a Bill. All the number ones, 5, 10, 15, 20, that guy in the overalls?
The guy who gets married, right?
The guy who gets married.
He's really
Oh,
shy
who's that
and
guy?
things. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, Mr. something, Mr.
I don't know.
He waits.
Wait, from math class, we watched my math
He
class.
writes a letter to the girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. Is that an English one? It's not math. It's got to be English or science. It's English? Oh.
Which one?
Mr.
Guy.
Mr. something.
Mr. something.
And he had like the mailbox.
He has a
thing.
crush on the girl.
Yeah. Uh-huh, yeah.
I don't remember that one at all.
Very good.
Lolly, 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 get your adverbs here.
I forgot about that one. Okay. Please, let's focus, people. Yes?
Could we do it in one equation?
Oh, yeah. Would you like me to? Is that what you mean? You want to see how okay. So what I would do in one equation is I would move the 1 to the other side and get 5x equals 1 plus or minus 5. Then divide that whole thing by 5. And then treat it once as if it's plus. 1 plus 5 is 6 divided by 5, 6/5. Treat it as it was minus 1 minus 5, negative 4 divided by 5. That's the easier way to do it. The hard way to do it would be to multiply out the left side, move the 25 to the other side and factor. I want to do it that way not to show you the harder way to do it, but I think some of you need practice in multiplying out binomials. For instance, I want to take 5x minus 1 and square it. Many of you would write this as 5x minus 1 times 5x minus 1 and FOIL it, correct? Yeah. Or many of you would say, well, it's 25x squared plus 1. That's not right. I'm going to show you the way to do it. Time to run with the big dogs. Thank you. Square the first term.
25x squared.
Multiply the two terms together. Negative 5x and double it.
I remember.
Negative 10x.
Square the last term.
1.
Plus 1. And that equals 25. Then bring the 25 to the other side. We have a quadratic. You factor it. You break it into all the parts. Blah, 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 blah. And you'll still end up with these two answers. It's just that this method is quite a bit easier.
Wait, so you do the first one, the hard one. You
Square the first term.
Yeah. and
Multiply the two together and double it. Square the last one.
Like 8 squared minus 2.
Okay, we good? Next on the agenda. Where are we at? Here we go. Number 3. Uh-oh. How many answers will we get?
3.
3 because it's a...
Trinomial.
No. It's a cubic. Trinomial is how many terms. We don't care about the number of terms. We care about the highest degree. That's a cubic because the highest degree is cubed.
Oh, I know how to do this. Is there anything that doesn't make it?
Oh, I'm sure I can come up with something really sick and twisted. Now's not the time for it, though. Set it equal to 0. What do we always do first, Ben?
On the GCF.
And what would happen to be the GCF in this case?
X.
X. X times the quantity, 6x squared plus 13x minus 5. Oh, look, a quadratic. We love quadratics. Factor that quadratic, please. What are you going to try? You're going to try 6 and 1. You're going to try 2 and 3. Hopefully you're not doing 2 and 4. That's 8.
Wait, I would be equals to 4. He's joking. No, what? I would be equal to 4.
You wouldn't, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I said hopefully you're not doing 2 and 4.
Is there a better way to do this than just like guess and check it?
Yeah, cheat off your neighbor who's really smart.
I guess I should. But like in general,
That's really smart.
This thing is not smart.
Or ways to get away with it. I recommend writing it to you though. Are you right-handed? What? Right-handed, so his hand won't block. She writes, she blocks with her hand. So that would be right. This one, you gotta look over his shoulder. This you gotta turn on, that's obvious. I don't wanna go that way either, it's pretty far. Oh, you're right. So we gotta plan this out. You also, you also, you we're racing.
I write like this. I mean, I gotta tell someone wrong thing.
All right. Kaylee, how does it factor? Clark?
Okay. 3x. No, I did 3x. And then 2x.
It's a good start.
Thanks. That's
You're welcome.
okay. And then I got +5 and -1, but then I did now that -1 +5. Oh, yeah, that works. That works. Okay.
Good. What do I do next? It's an equation. Lauren? How? Good. What is that you're using? What is that rule called or property?
Okay.
Good. We're going to implement the zero product rule. Each one of these things has to equal 0. X equals 0. Well, that's easy. 3x minus 1 equals 0, which means that 3x is equal to 1, which means that x is equal to 1/3. 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. That's the most pitiful 2 I've ever written. 2x equals -5. X is equal to -5 halves. There's all 3 answers. Okie doke. All right. Number 4. How many answers? 2, because it's a quadratic. Justin, how does it factor?
3x plus 5 and then x minus 1.
3x, what the heck? 3x plus 5 and what?
X minus 1.
X minus 1. What? That doesn't work? Negative 3x plus 5x is 2x. Uh-oh. Okay, I have an eraser. Of course we still love him. What are you talking about? Why would it even come up for discussion? Any others? How's it factor? Ooh.
Wait.
She's having an issue here.
Never mind.
Go ahead.
Are you gonna say it doesn't factor?
He did say it doesn't factor.
Are you agreeing with them?
This is America.
Yes, I will agree with him.
Okay, then never mind.
This
Do
is
you have an
America.
alternative idea?
Nope.
Okay. What do you want?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not
Not
It's not factorable. So this fun stuff isn't going to work. We have to come up with a different method because there has to be two answers. That's a rule that's never violated. Since there are two answers, we have a couple options. Those two answers could be weird decimals, or they could be imaginary. In this class, they're not going to be imaginary. So we're going to use your little friend and mine, the quadratic formula, which Cassie is going to be kind enough to share with us. By the way, are you singing the song in your head right now?
I'm singing the song right
You don't know the
now.
song?
I've never heard
This
this
is a
song.
song that I sang.
Fine, we'll get to the song in a second. Back to you.
You definitely know this song.
In this particular problem, what is A? 3. What's B? Negative 10. You got to take the negative sign with it. What's C? 5. From the general form of the quadratic is where we get those values in the ax squared plus bx plus c format. Could you use the quadratic formula on every one of these problems? Yes, it's just a pain in the butt. That's why we don't do it. Okay, so here we go. X is equal to 10 plus or minus the square root of negative 10 squared minus, parentheses are not a bad idea right there, 4 times A times C. Close parentheses, all divided by 2 times 3. You might not have to write it out in that detail, but again, since it's the first time we're doing this, I plugged everything in. You might be able to do in your head, negative 10 squared is 100, and 4 times 3 times 5 is, okay, maybe not. 60. 10 plus or minus the square root of 100 minus 60 over 6, which is equal to 10 plus or minus the square root of 40 all over 6. Here's a silly question, John. Am I done?
No.
No, why not?
Because you have to solve for x.
Do tell.
Should I tell you the answers? Or?
No, tell me what I'm supposed to do next.
Well, you go onto your calculator and you do 10 plus.
No, we want an exact answer here, not a decimal value.
You divide by 6.
Nope. Cassie, you started this mess. We do. How does the square root of 40 simplify? Good. Let's bring this up here so we can all see it. Equals 10 plus or minus 2 square roots of 40 over, oh, no it isn't. 2 square roots of 10. Do not cancel these numbers. You cannot do that because there's a plus and a minus sign there. What you have to do, however, is factor out a GCF in the numerator. What's the GCF in the numerator? 2. Final answer, 5 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 3. And eventually, when we tie these quadratics back into geometry problems, we will be looking for the decimal values there. But right now, I don't want decimal values, I want the exact answers. And again, notice that that's 2 answers. 5 plus the square root of 10 divided by 3, and 5 minus the square root of 10 divided by 3. Any questions on any of that business? We're all good with that? The biggest thing that people are going to struggle with is not plugging and chugging into the quadratic formula. Most of you know the song and can regurgitate that formula at will. The biggest problem is going to be in the simplifying to get it down to an answer that is what we consider simplified completely. Abby?
How did you get the 2 square?
Yeah.
Cassie, back to you. Where did 2 square root of 10 come from?
Square root of 40 times 5 into the square root of 4 times square root of 10. Because that's, if you just take something out of square root of 40 that can be, that has a perfect square.
Want me to write that? Are you a visual learner?
Yeah, I think I did.
Think you got it? For those of you that might be visual learners, she did the square root of 40 as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. Because 4 is a perfect square, the square root of 4 is 2. We get that. That's why we simplified radicals early on. Puzzle pieces all fitting together. Get it? Yeah, good. Okay. Drew?
So to get the final answer, you just divide them both by 2. Or-
Correct. Once I factored out that GCF, if that GCF will simplify with the bottom, then if that was a 7 on the bottom, I don't know how I'd get a 7 on the bottom, but if it was a 7 on the bottom, because it's 2 times, then you wouldn't cancel it, but the odds of that happening are fairly slim. Anything else? Outstanding. We're all done. Day 3.
Got like 2 hours of
Yeah. Cookies and
Oh, it's so cool.
Hey, you gotta clean that up.